Chapter 15 Magic Glasses for Sale. After only half a sentence was written in the mystical notebook, I had to stop. Not from writer's block, but I was in shock from the power of a single imaginative thought. As rain fell on the spirit rock, I wondered how a written phrase could affect reality. And so what if our minds can create pathways to navigate our destiny magically? And with power like that, who dare mess around? The Magi had since disappeared, while I wondered if this notebook was something like a portal into higher awareness. Meanwhile, the mind could not decide what to make of it. So after a long time, after no one else arrived, I reopened the mystical notebook to finish the last sentence I had scribed. And so I wrote, "Once upon a time when it was raining, just as hope looked dim, there arose a great voice as a beacon of truth which shined out from within. This voice was the light of love, and each mystical word was so auspicious. It spoke of a future so bright that I wonder if we'll need sunglasses." I stopped because I didn't have a clue where my imagination was going, but I had to wonder, could this notebook change reality? Because who then was the witness? After those first sentences, I felt a little ashamed, because what if God was listening? Well, then I should be more serious.
"Together, we are unstoppable,"
said a voice from someone who was invisible. There was no one else here, so who was it that would talk? I was alone in this cornfield, seated before the great spirit rock.
"We are one together,"
said the invisible guide. "Are you aware of the power of this notebook? What should we make of this?"
"Your ability to find the silly and the serious will take you far,"
said the invisible guide. It must have been the rock, but how could it talk? "Are you an alien? What should I do with this?"
"For the things we wish to learn, we learn by doing them,"
said the invisible one. I don't know if it was an alien, but I couldn't even imagine this unseen one. The longer I sat, the harder it became to tell where this voice was, or how this unseen one listened. And was it just one person alone, or were there more than one of them? And how many were speaking to me? Maybe the reason I heard their voice was because it arose from my own intuition. Now where were we? I reread the first few sentences I'd written. Ah, yes! The future is so bright that we will need sunglasses. As I gazed up in contemplation, there was a man on the opposite side of the cornfield. His head was buried in his large jacket, while he searched for something. Alas, there over his eyes were a pair of very unique sunglasses. "Hey you! Would you come here and cut this thread?" asked the mysterious man. As I came closer, I realized he had a large array of stitches going all the way around his neck, and the last thread was extra long, which he had used to sew on his new head. "What happened to you?" "Lost my head, but I found a new one just in time." "Say, you wouldn't know anyone trying to buy some magical sunglasses, would ya?" he asked. "Sunglasses? Why, that's so strange. I was just thinking about sunglasses." "That's right. You'll need a pair because our future is looking bright. Plus, have you ever wanted to see through the eyes of Padmasambhava?" he asked. My eyes blinked to make sure he was real. Then he reached into his pocket and revealed a pair of unusual sunglasses. "I've got these on sale, only $200, he said. "But I don't have any money." "Here, try 'em on and take a look. Then you can pay me if you like what you see in them," he said. After he passed me the glasses, I looked through them when you'll never believe what appeared. I could see the great unseen one living in the spirit rock. And through these sunglasses, I saw his ancient form as a sort of human or monkey who appeared like a great sage that wore a big blanket. I became so absorbed upon seeing the great hidden master. Who are you, and what is the power of these glasses? My name is Clancy, and which sunglasses did I give you? You're either looking at Neem Karoli Baba or Guru Padmasambhava. I tend to mix up the magic glasses, but I'm pretty sure he transforms negative energy to cultivate peace and love, compassion and service, and some believe he is connected to the Nagas. Neem Karoli Baba is a saint who has the power to subdue such Nagas and other planetary spirits because he holds supernatural powers. They say he is Hanuman and he can move mountains across the earth. He does this to awaken the spiritual goodness within all of us. His voice is a beacon of truth, for he holds the light of pure love, and each mystical word he speaks is auspicious. From his grace, it is said that he unveils the secret text called Terma. Or maybe those are the glasses which reveal Ramakrishna, he said. Terma? Yes, Terma are the hidden teachings from various spiritual traditions, and they are thought to be great revelations. Padmasambhava is one of the main architects of the great perfection, he said. Are you with the Magi? The man named Clancy remained silent and pointed to the book in my hands. What are you working on? Asked Clancy. Do you know about the Magi? I asked again. And who are the four of you? He asked. My name is Surya. And her? Your other half? He asked. Oh, you can see Shruti too? And what about your yak? Clancy asked. You mean Nandi. And your snake? Said Clancy. That's Kundalini. And what about your parrot? He asked. I had to pause after that, because it felt like he could see through me, and wherever my mind would wander, I wondered if he followed along, as if each inner thought was said verbally. What's with these sunglasses? Depending on how we use our imagination, we can change the ways we view reality. Each pair of magic sunglasses are a different lens to see the world spiritually, said Clancy. He opened his large coat when I thought he might flash me. But inside, there were all sorts of glasses in various shapes, sizes, and colors. Were each of them portals into different realities? And what happened to your head? It's not the first time my jokes have gotten me in trouble, but I can't remember what I would have said. I must have lost my last head at the comedy gig, said Clancy. Are you saying you have a habit of losing your head? I wouldn't say I lost my mind, but I might have misplaced a head, 2, or maybe a few. You know, people like us have to be careful from time to time. You'll find yourself in trouble if you only listen to your muse, said Clancy. A muse? You mean like a spirit? I thought muses were made up. A muse lives in the imagination, and within it is the power that connects us into the heart of creation. My last muse was a wild one, and that spirit was a he. Yes, he was quite the rebellious spirit, and that last muse wrote some nighttime gospels and even got us on good old TV. Well, once we made it public, the mainstream wasn't too happy with the muse and I. That's when I lost the head. And now I think I'll try out my comedy shows on a different channel instead. You have to learn to work with your muse, otherwise you'll get canceled by the demon heads, said Clancy. So you're a writer? I am as I am, but I suppose my muse is a good writer. Hey, you said you know the Magi, right? Did they give you an assignment? Said Clancy. With the notebook closed in my hands, the golden cover caught Clancy's attention. But I wasn't sure what to tell him. The Magi didn't say too much about what I was supposed to be doing. It's called Fruition. The Magi didn't tell me what to do or how to do it. They said to use the imagination, then whatever is written comes to fruition. So is it term up? And are you really writing it? Or is it being written while it's using you as an instrument for penmanship? It's treasure revealing, isn't it? The more you write, the more it happens. It's because your muse named Shruti is a Naga. Clancy paused. How about we trade your mystical notebook for these magic sunglasses? After a moment, I took the glasses off and handed them back to him. I can't. Why not? I believe you're telling the truth. And I also believe that we can do anything if we open to our imagination, said Clancy. He smiled when I noticed how his muse seemed to have a mind of its own. Clancy backed away slowly, but he wouldn't say another word. And was Clancy or that muse really in control? Hey, where are you going? Once Clancy turned away, he never stopped to explain anything. He made his way back into the distant city before he disappeared when I turned to face the spirit rock. Without those magic sunglasses, I couldn't see if that ancient being was still there listening, but surely the spirit rock was full of divine awareness. It must have been midnight when the gentle wind crossed over from above underneath the moon. Starlight came to life when the mystical notebook glistened as if it too had a life of its own. Was this book like a musical instrument? And what would happen if I let someone else write in it? The last line I wrote spoke of a future so bright that I wondered if we'd need sunglasses. And should I have passed up on Clancy's magic? Sometimes being curious is a great thing. And since I wrote about those magic sunglasses, I suppose I was willing to do anything. With a hop, skip, and a jump, I was off after him. But where had Clancy gone? Please say it isn't so. Oh God, give me another chance to wear those magic sunglasses, because I saw the rock had a real living soul. Into the city I went, but I couldn't stop imagining the sight from those magical sunglasses. What I'd seen from those lenses was unbelievable. No written word could grasp the real details, because I saw and felt how that whole rock was divine and spiritual. Why those sunglasses were profoundly magical. Well, I know what I need to do. Then right when I turned the corner down one of the alleys, I saw a Magi with a great beard. Holy shit! Clancy! I knew you'd come back for the sunglasses, he said. Yes, but I've got an idea. Since I can't trade this notebook forever, how about we switch for a little bit? I'll let you write whatever you want in it. I won't even judge it. And you know what? I won't even reread it. You can write whatever you want. Just make sure there's still some room left in the mystical notebook. Now, what did you call the soul in that stone? Neem Karoli Baba? Or Ramakrishna? Yeah, that's right. But now I'm curious if what you really need is green Tara, said Clancy. He pulled out a pair of green shades, and these ones had a wild style. That's when I exchanged the notebook so quick, because these glasses could have been even more magical. So what is this notebook? And any idea where the story is going? Like, have you thought about what happens? Asked Clancy. This is also fun, even though I seem to keep forgetting how some great beings are listening. Of course, we must write to tell the truth. But who is it that really decides what might happen? Just as I pulled the green magic glasses, Over my eyes, I heard a divine woman's voice. Yes, there was a hidden layer, and through these glasses, I was tuned into her. I even heard Shruti whisper along. She chanted a mantra to this divine woman. The mantra was in another language, so I didn't understand Shruti's whisper, but this Tara she spoke of was an ancient green being who lived within subtle nature. She was a sort of hidden layer, and I could feel her self-existing expression everywhere. Oh, this green Tara was a savior. Meanwhile, Clancy was well aware of magic, and I had a strong feeling I should stay close to him. But with this latest lens, I kept my senses directed to the subtle things, as if there were clues everywhere about what should be written. When I looked through these magical lenses, I saw nature as a divine goddess. Clancy, I've been meaning to ask you, whatever you're in on, I would like an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship? In an apprenticeship, you are guided by the self, as the self gazes upon the unseen ones. It is not you or I who write in such a book. Creation is a work of art, and it has no defects. Can't you see it? It's all perfect, said Clancy. He tried on yet another pair of glasses, only to exchange it in as many pockets for another. Is there only one life? And who is it that's living with it? What is the duty which humanity is bound into? And how do you make sense of this magic? With these glasses, I could feel the goddess everywhere. She was the green one, and through these magical lenses, I could hear Green Tara whisper. I felt into the invisible, spiritual world with these glasses, while Clancy scribbled away. How's the writing leading you? Relax, nothing is under control, said Clancy. Control? Control of what? Control of time? What is control when I cannot see the green one without these sunglasses over my eyes? I would raise the glasses above my sight, then lower them again. Over and over, the goddess reappeared within nature's creation. Everything is teaching us, but at the same time, we should be careful of threats. We wouldn't want something like a demon head to harm us. I tend to wonder if what the glasses reveal is how there's a higher force working through all of us, said Clancy. Are you ever afraid of it? Of infinite magic? Do you fear the fact that there are such great beings? Because now I see how all of them are listening. It isn't everything and everywhere. It's the self, the spark, the fire, and the spirit. Yet along with it, somewhere there's a naughty deceiver who watches from a high tower. Have you ever wondered about evil and why it has so much power? Said Clancy. What I could see in that moment cannot be described. The direct experience proves to be the wisest teacher, and so I hope you find the magic sunglasses to wear over your eyes. Why, I could see reality clearly. I even noticed the horde of demon heads around the earth. Somewhere, there were the unseen ones who worked alongside the Magi. Clancy was so calm, even though the world was dominated by greed, hatred, division, and fear. Have you ever wondered about who controls the spirit that is woven underneath our reality? Asked Clancy. At once I got a little nervous because Clancy had scribbled away for about 2 pages. Hey, I think I want to trade back. Here are the glasses, so can I have the notebook? And so we switched back rather quick. The glasses were off, and my reality was normal again. When I wore the glasses, it felt like my soul was all the way plugged in. One more thing. Do you want to try on these extra special glasses? Because I haven't shown anyone else these ones, said Clancy as he held a new pair up. Which ones are those? Well, they are quite powerful, as these glasses in particular allow you to see through people to gaze upon the true nature of another living being, said Clancy. Whoa, what are they called? I call them unicorn cookies. And you should know, I only met a unicorn once. The unicorn said I'd need to take the glasses off. The last time I wore these, well, it changed me forever, and it was so powerful that the only way I managed to get them off is when I ripped off my last head. The feeling starts with a bit of a rush, and it's quite addicting, I must admit, because it allows you to see what people are thinking before anything is even said, Clancy expressed. Sure, I'll trade you back. And so without even looking in the golden notebook, I reached for the next pair. Now be careful. These are the most intense magic glasses I've got. Promise you'll be careful with them. I'll make sure I keep the golden notebook safe until you want it back, said Clancy. Once these new glasses were over my eyes, it took a little getting used to. Do you know how an X-ray reveals things underneath the surface? Well, these glasses did too. It wasn't something physical, but rather, I didn't need words to see what people were feeling and thinking. And can I give you one last warning, said Clancy. I looked to the man who had sewn on his latest head, but with these lenses over my eyes, he was no longer a physical being. He was a traveler between realms, and I was not sure of what it was that I was even seeing. The sun rose behind him to illuminate his mind, but he was of two forces sewn together, which were joined at the neck, as something within him was connected to the divine. Was he a treasure revealer or a time traveler? It could not be known whether this man or woman was a sort of magician and juggler. Okay, so I'm not sure how to say this, but along the path, you're bound to encounter some of the demon heads. That's how I lost my head, said Clancy. I heard what he said, but I could already see how it all went. Beyond even the words, I could see his family lineage, his friends, his connections, his life, and like a ray of clear light, it was woven through some sort of interdimensional thread. These glasses showed me who he really was, that of pure love. These glasses revealed everything, and now I saw how it was all connected. You really need to be careful with those glasses. Not everyone is ready to see what is hidden. Be aware of the demon heads, because they seek domination with chaos and division. Don't let them poison your heart. And if you find yourself near a demon head, don't look for too long. You can see the inner world with those glasses, but you can't always change it. The best thing to do with those glasses is to find the way to awaken your truest sight instead. Then come back, because I'm sure I'll need them, said Clancy. He was off and away as I gazed up into the aimless air. Buildings and homes were everywhere, yet his mind was connected into everything that was here. And before our eyes lived a hidden dimension at all times. Why, these glasses were the most rare. Oh, who made them? Who would even dare?
Let's give the world something to watch,
said Shruti. Oh, I almost forgot you were there. Now what would you like to do, especially since we can see through reality?
Alchemy,
said Shruti.
As humans, you are trapped in the bounds of time, and this wheel of suffering and agony is actually a ripening process. Come free yourself through me. I know what the demon heads are really after. They are in search of the nectar of immortality,
said Shruti. Immortality? But is such a nectar real?
Yes, and for many moons it has been concealed. What we have before us is the path, which is traveled by the Magi and the spirits unseen. The longer you walk this path, know that we will come across everything that our soul ever needs. On the other hand, the demon heads wage war upon the earth because of greed, aggression, anger, and above all, ignorance. They wish to take command of the living and conquer the earthly dirt. But the one thing the demon heads fail to realize is that no matter how much money, power, or control they hold, the process of the Wheel of Time cannot be reversed, as it only goes forward,
said Shruti. Someone was watching. I could feel a distant force tune in. I could see him so far away with these lenses. As I was aware, this soul may not be situated in our present reality. As if he poked his head through an interdimensional window, his eyes looked down. Oh, he was a wicked spy who opened an earth window. Oh no! He had a demon head with bug eyes when I caught him snarling. Oh my God! They're out there! Have the demon heads conquered the world?
The more the light of our life grows, the more the demon heads will turn hostile,
said Shruti. Each and every step we took, I felt his bug eyes spying. Every time I spoke, I noticed he would record what I said. These glasses made us hypersensitive because it felt like the demon heads were tuned in. Were they looking through cameras, data, artificial intel as they monitored through phones, street corners, and computers? Why, this lens gave them sight to the never-ending, and it was so peculiar because before I could even think of the right words, I saw the lenses reveal a projection of Clancy as he entered my life through a vision like a motion picture. Oh, there he was, so skillful with his words as he talked upon a broadcast beside a very famous comedian. It appeared he was in an interview while millions were watching. Oh, I was stunned as I could feel what Clancy said. There Clancy had the golden notebook in his arms as he sat beside this very powerful comedian. He could use words to dance around ideas and wisdom before I found myself tiptoeing deeper into the vision. His words covered his actual intention, yet in time, his truth was always revealed and projected. As if I could hear him speak a hidden language, I understood what was most unexpected. And so the vision came clear. You know, I recently met a guy who's trying to bring it into fruition, said Clancy. Did you? Asked the famous comedian. Yeah, and I even traded him for a mystical notebook. And you and I both know the only way to get something like this is from aliens, said Clancy. I bet he was raped by aliens, said the famous comedian. When I looked at the famous comedian in the vision, under one of his eyes, he had stitches. Why, I could see some of the most intense details with these magical sunglasses. The man with the stitches spoke to Clancy, and it seemed I had no choice but to listen. Drawn into them by some magnetic thread through the means of my intuition. Just then, the magic sunglasses revealed how the man with the stitches transformed on the live broadcast as he put on a mask, as he appeared to wear a demon head. Clancy remained calm. He might have even been unaware, but I saw his third eye was so open when he could see into the presence of this man's masked nature. What do you think a notebook like that can do? Asked the man with the stitches. It can move mountains. It can also cause great prosperity or terrible destruction. I think the power of this notebook can do anything, said Clancy. Well, if the guy comes back looking for it, let me know if you want me to hunt him. The man with the stitches began laughing. You know I'm kidding, but I'd hate to hear where you actually got that mystical notebook. Did you have to have sex with aliens? Asked the man with stitches. No, I really met a guy who traded me for it. He had a few other souls attached to him, but they were within him. One was a woman, a real dragon, and she was in on the secret. She worked with the serpents connected to the Magi, a sort of imaginary tribe, said Clancy. A dragon? I've always believed in dragons. And are you saying this guy got raped by aliens? Asked the man with the stitches. Clancy was well aware of this man's mask, but it also seemed as if the man was in control of his soulful nature under it. Maybe it wasn't a demon head, but was this some kind of lethal fighter? Hey, I've got an idea, Clancy giggled. Do you want to eat some magic mushrooms? Here they were, on the live podcast, which was broadcast over the internet, TV, and quite possibly interdimensionally. Meanwhile, Clancy passed the man mushrooms, but I wondered, was this man with the stitches connected to the deceiver and the demon army? And why did Clancy talk to him about Shruti? Now both of them ate the mushrooms, but I didn't know if my mind projected this or if this was really reality. It felt like a pure vision or dream, and maybe I was the only one who peeked through the veil through pure curiosity. As I watched the discussion continue, it was clear that the man with the stitches was Clancy's good friend. But what were him and Clancy really in on? Now my awareness focused on the man with the stitches when it felt like I knew him. Who was this? I wondered, and there I heard a voice in my own imagination.
That comedian is an archer and a legendary fighter. Legend says he is able to tame his own demon head, and in some ways, you are all connected to the same near impossible mission of bringing it into fruition, said
Shruti. The man with the stitches was not demonic, but rather the man had the head of a wolf. This was not a demon head, but his stitches made me curious with so many questions, and so I kept on listening. Hey, what episode is this? Asked the comedian. 1313, and it's an important number, said Clancy. You think so? Why's that? Asked the comedian with stitches. Well, we've got two 13s back to back, so it doubles the numerology potency, which is already a mystical number, which terrifies people in the West. Some people think it's unlucky, but the Tibetan Buddhists think 13 is a very lucky and auspicious number, said Clancy. What do you think about religion? Do you think we're trapped by what people of the past believed in? Look at us. We're middle-aged, making our way through life. But how many people out there have gotten their minds trapped? Asked the man with stitches. You know what? At least we're all on a path. And this notebook, it's like a way to make our own map, said Clancy. And when you think about Jesus, he's like a zombie who died and then 3 days later came back. People love to believe it, and I got nothing against you if that's what you believe. Go on and live your life like Jesus is real. And if you want to believe in Jesus because it makes you live a better life, that's great. But to be honest, it's a pretty old book. I'm just curious why you're going to follow something that's been written and rewritten and edited by people who could have been connected to a bunch of liars. I'm just saying, there are a lot of people out there who are liars. Look at the courts. Each courtroom has at least one liar, said the comedian. Well, we can take Jesus literally, or we can go deeper and ask what is really real about reality. So, in that sense, we're like treasure revealers. We can all get to the place that's centered in our spirit. Some call this the self, and some see that Jesus and the self are not separate, but rather They are united as one true self, said Clancy. A moment later, those mushrooms started to activate, and now the man with the stitches opened his awareness, which changed his inner form. Those mushrooms were so powerful that even though he had a fierce head, it disappeared as his energy transformed. This man was filled with pure love. He was a jolly old comedian. On the other hand, Clancy was a real magician who seemed to transform demon heads in a way that they weren't even aware of. Within an instant, I got a glimpse of insight from these magical sunglasses. Or was this my imagination? Shruti seemed to be guiding me as I tuned into the light when I was shaken by a surge of awareness. A great flash shot into us, which was the eye-opening as it pulled the mind into clairvoyance. Shruti and I were led beyond time, but for how long? Now it seemed I entered another door through a distant dimension. What is this, Shruti?
Stay with me,
she said. Where are we traveling? Without words, she showed me 3 aspects of the immortal nature, which came into this vision as unspoken, timeless divine wisdom. On Earth, I could still see Clancy with the comedian who used mushrooms to detach from their fierce aspects while live on the podcast. Meanwhile, we? Yes, them, you, and me. We were all within this infinite self, and we could be transported into even higher awareness beyond what we perceive as reality. This was a great hill, or a place beyond time, within and outside of material nature. Oh, now I saw it. This was the spirit rock in the cornfield. As our spirit was catapulted beyond time, I saw 3 planes emerge: the lower, the middle, and the upper worlds.
Below on the earth is the observatory, which is also thought of as the whirlpool. We know this as the earth nature, where the demon heads think they hold control. Above that is the Pearl Palace. If life on earth is like a labyrinth out of suffering, the demon heads see it as a maze, even though it ends in the same divine place. Yet the main difference between both views is that in a labyrinth, as long as you keep walking, you get out. But the demon heads have gotten trapped, and so in their version, it appears like a maze. Then, the Pearl Palace, above the earth, is a soulful plane where the Magi reside, and it could be thought of as a staircase. There are no problems to the riddle of existence, but there are things to be revealed, and so, not all Magi are moral with their actions. We find ourselves in the moment of a great divide. In one way, it could be called a great battle. Some Magi have fallen to be influenced by the demonic nature as they work for the deceiver. One of them is the man with the bug eyes you saw spying through the earth windows. Then, above both the Pearl Palace and the whirlpool on earth is what could be called the Divine Table. This is the highest gate, and the Spirit Rock is how it is accessed. But to discover that, you must know the secret, which is a divine miracle. From this connection lives a portal where the unseen ones exist, and so this third world is thought of like a final gateway into that which is immortal. As we have temporarily risen to sit in the Pearl Palace, let us take a moment to sit with the Magi and enjoy the divine comedy of the Earth Circus,
said Shruti. With only a magic lens, we went beyond time, through the power of the mind, and it all came to us through the sight of the inner eye. Visions of clarity would arise in ways that could not be described. But why would Shruti call it a divine comedy?
Because the demon heads will do anything to secure the nectar of immortality. Yet all of us are navigating the stars from the Earth Observatory. To some degree, Earth is like a laboratory, but those demon heads cannot make sense of true alchemy. Even as they've stolen the ancient texts of the Magi, the demon heads work so hard, but cannot discover the process to create eternal life. Meanwhile, the demon heads believe they are on the way to the top since they want control of the divine table. They want more and more power, and that's the way of the deceiver. Never satisfied, they'll conquer everything until there are no resources left. They want more because of their selfish nature, which is caused by the ignorance of their own demon heads. The demon heads pursue power, control, and money on Earth, but are still subjected to infinite time upon the material reality. That's why the higher ranks of the demon army are so desperate to know the ways of the Magi and obtain the nectar of immortality. They think they are building a golden age, and they speak as though they have access to the divine gateway. But what they don't realize is how all things on Earth are subject to change. Right now, the demon heads appear to hold power and control over the worldly nations, and so they divide the population as they uphold unjust laws, conceal immoral actions, and yet they don't realize that the further they go, the closer they are to their own ego's destruction,
said Shruti. My awareness was right here with her, but we were up above and down below. It seemed the imagination was a vehicle that could transport us to wherever the soul needed us to go. It felt like years had passed while wearing the magic sunglasses, and now I saw Clancy on the podcast with the comedian who had since healed his stitches. But this time it appeared as if he wore a true demon head. Welcome to episode 1666, said the comedian. Said Clancy. They chanted a vibration, which started a cosmic ritual to open the Pearl Palace as it summoned the distant Magi nation. Many great beings opened the windows of the soul to peek in. I saw this as if our spiritual self gazed down while looking out from within. Even Shruti and I were invited. She had a cauldron with a blazing fire underneath it, as if she made some magic potions. Now out of her cauldron, bubbles emerged. There I saw the faces of distant souls rise out and smile, as if liberated through thin air. Meanwhile, Clancy and the comedian puffed on marijuana as it dissolved into their lungs. There can only be one, said the comedian. Why, that's such a terrible rule, said Clancy. Dude, you're such a good friend that when I see you, I'm transported. There's no time lost. We're immediately back to where I saw you last, said the comedian. Drinks were poured on the live broadcast, and after a single sip of the alcoholic poison, their demon heads began to emerge. Of course, there was light within them that was conscious and aware, but it appeared the light of their soul might be concealed by a judging nature. They were halfway in and halfway out of the demon world. What started with ritual mantra brought in all the unseen ones onto this podcast episode. I myself turned to see the other onlookers who appeared as other mystical magi. All of us listened through a sort of vibrational telepathy, and now these men on Earth revealed a wrathful mask while it was broadcast internationally. Among those listeners were the living, but some of the spirits had gone beyond to the Pearl Palace. They seemed to be mortal, yet hidden, and after the live episode was finished, Clancy and the comedian gathered off air to catch up. Hey, you know who? Mr. Fruition? Well, listen, I'm going to need some dirt on him. Tell me what you heard about what he's doing. I'm going to teach him a lesson, said the comedian. Well, what are you going to do? I don't want someone to steal his information and target him with blackmail for a bribe. Come on, him and I are connected through the same group of spiritual magi, said Clancy. What are you worried about? No one will know you did anything. Just give me a tiny hint and I'll do the rest to get him, said the comedian with the stitches. Okay, well, here's something I might have heard. Just don't let anyone know that I told you this, said Clancy. Oblivious and frivolous, we were all so curious. And along with the Magi, the unseen ones, and our higher self, we gazed down as they opened up a folder to dig into confidential information. They had dug up secrets from my past, my family, relationships, and jobs. Aha! I've got it! I'll record a comedy special and say he was fired from his last employer because he was raped by an alien, said the comedian with the stitches. And before long, he did exactly what he said he'd do. He went on a giant TV program. He said I'd been raped by an alien and was trying to destroy the entire demon horde. This started a chain reaction. Now all the demon heads whispered secrets about me and the supposed alien abduction. But before long, they went on to create a new nickname for Shruti and I. They called us the Prince of Darkness and the Dragon of the Apocalypse. Seated silent in contemplation, I understood something about the horde and their demon nature. Many of them were covered by the layers as they'd been seduced by ambition, which drove their behaviors into mindless consumption, where they were lost in deep material addiction based on fame, appearance, and surface impressions. None of the demon heads knew they were ruled by fear. And why would this man say that I was raped by aliens? But had I been abducted by one? Are there even real aliens? And where are they from? Oh my goodness, now I have to wonder if I've seen one. It's all happened, but I can't quite remember when, or if, or do I even believe in aliens? Of course I do, but no one would believe me when I say I saw their spaceship. Now with all of this, I could still see what had happened, but the real aspect of my fragile ego sank into the fire of our inner awareness. Here lived the hidden magi and the unseen ones. When I realized they too had heard all of this, oh, I was destroyed as my heart was shattered from all of it. Then I saw how it was woven. That one joke spread. It went all the way through the comedian's tribe. And this dude with the stitches was connected to a bunch of talented, athletic, fat, silly, powerful, and rich guys. Oh, now I wanted to die. The whole group was in on the scoop, and now they believed I'd gotten raped while I felt trapped and bound by time. Oh, I was so desperate to escape the wrath of his joke. I took the glasses off at once. I need to trade these back with Clancy.
I love this. This action creates a karmic connection between us and such a group. The demon heads will have no choice but to allocate resources because of this.
Paused Shruti. What do you mean allocate? Who and what? And how on earth will I recover from this?
Few are mindful to know the effects and influences from one's past impacts. When a soul crosses the line, everyone beyond the veil can see and feel it. And once a karmic act is committed, no matter how simple, a reaction can start a hurricane or spread like wildfire. And this reaction goes beyond the realm of status and money. And because they started the episode with Om, it opened up the conversation into the Pearl Palace, which is an interdimensional portal,
said Shruti. Without more words, Shruti exposed something that had been concealed. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see through the lenses in my hand when Shruti changed her form, where she appeared black as night, with blood dripping from her tongue. There in her hands was a curved knife and a severed demon head. Pure darkness covered her body, and she existed in the highest plane with the unseen divine legion. She wore a necklace of demon heads. Oh, this was her. She was the ruler of time, the goddess of creation and destruction. Wait, do you know the way out of time? Can you lead me out so I can escape and change our fate?
Just wait. Now that we've got everyone in the same boat, we're going to come together, because I know you weren't raped,
she said. With aliens on the mind and Shruti's arm up around our neck, I had to keep the glasses off. It was not up to me to determine what anyone would have to pay back. On top of this, the deceiver was out there somewhere, and he might have been winning. I remembered there was a staircase with the light and dark magi, but how could anyone even survive if the bad magi kept climbing? Hey Nandi, you've got to talk to Shruti. You can't let her burn anything or anyone. If gossip starts a wildfire, then the world is already lit with deceit and deception. But who are we if we don't help serve the population? All we can do is work through such chaos and misconceptions. We must not burn anything or anyone, even if they spread gossip to humiliate us publicly. You've got to help her, Nandi. I felt the yak carry my body, all because of what I'd seen from the magic sunglasses.
You know what I do when it gets tough?
Said Nandi. What?
Well, first, I never let the hard days win. Then I keep telling myself, I love everybody. I love everybody unconditionally. I love those who love me, and I love those who hate me. I love those who humiliate me. I love those who spread false things against me. I love those who say nice things about me. I love this world so much, with all its plants, people, and creatures, and I'm ready for all of us to come into unity,
said Nandi. Shruti stayed silent in her private thoughts, and I wouldn't dare put the glasses back on in case Clancy or his friend would embarrass me. She was aware of how these famous ones spread their chatter publicly so quickly. Oh, I'd caught a horrific glimpse of those powerful people as they laughed at the expense of me. But justice, what about honor, truthfulness, and integrity?
We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. And whatever they think or do, it's none of our business either. Be it gossip or a lie, whomever they think we are. Remember, we know the truth. We are loving awareness,
said Nandi. Before you return those lenses, put the glasses back on for one more moment, said a voice. In my hands were the magic glasses, but I was broken from gossip so tragic. If aliens were real, then had they gotten the best of me? Is that why I was chained to the old temple? As I put the glasses back over my eyes, I looked up to the sky, where I saw a great blue being who was clothed with the rays of the sun. He was like a divine tree who gave fruit to everyone. Here he held 2 staffs, and although his skin was naked, I knew him to be the maker of life, and so I bowed in reverence. The demon heads know not what is coming. Through time, they will search for someone to save them, and when time comes, when they're caught in the big battle, the demon heads will need divine grace, which only comes from beyond human form. There is only one way the demon heads can survive this. They must find the light that allows them to rise out of their ego's separate illusion. They seek to dominate the population, but I have the staff that upholds justice over creation. There is only one way the demon heads can get out of this terrible trap. They will have a choice to awaken out of their confusion, and assistance from the Magi and unseen ones is all around, but they will need you as a companion. You are guided by the presence and life of many Magi. It is us who are able to bring the pure future into fruition. There is but one option, and it seems we have found the way. Haven't we? Said the great blue unseen one. Which way? Union. We have to include everyone. Not everyone may be ready, and it could take years, but in time there is a choice, and now we will bring it into fruition. Even when it feels like no one else is with us, all souls are our witness. We work from the heart because we are made of that which is called loving awareness. You, me, humanity, the Magi, Nandi, Kundalini, Shruti, the comedian, Clancy, and all of them are not separate because we are connected into the heart of divinity. Through the root of the earth, which stretches into humanity. Do not give up on the demon heads, even if they control a demon army. You are here to help all beings. In time, we will rise like the great sun to live with humility, compassion, and integrity. We are the light that enlivens the darkness. O Surya, you are the ray of loving awareness. Now live with love, with truth, bliss, and consciousness. Not a single person or thing on the earth is separate from us. We are all the spirit of loving awareness. Through the space of all galaxies, beyond right and wrong, there blooms a hidden garden. Take the world to it, he said. It's magnificent. For a moment I saw it. I saw the treasure called heaven. Take the glasses off and go get the notebook, he said. But how could I take my eyes off it? This was the mountain no demon heads had been able to summit. There within us, at the peak of the mountain, grew a light that transcended all directions, gone beyond space, time, and material existence, was the dawn of pure illuminated consciousness in the form of timeless wisdom. The great sacred mountain itself glowed throughout all time everywhere when its light poured out into infinite space for all of us. And so it is there for us to bow to it.